30 years have passed since the Legion was destroyed, and Ebb has suffered in that time. War rages without end between Jane Cassander in the east and the royal family in the west. A few sons and daughters of the Legion remain. You are one of their number.
All right, everybody. Guess what time it is?
I don't know.
What time is it, Jeff?
It's time to play Can Obsidian Fuck Up Another Video Game Franchise?
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay,
we get to play.
give us a list of what they've screwed up in the past.
Okay, Obsidian, to my knowledge, has fucked up KOTOR, Fallout, Neverwinter Nights, and now Dungeon Siege.
How'd they screw up Fallout?
Well,
Like
okay.
So somebody else developed it, and then they handed the sequel over to Fallout?
Yeah,
or?
I tell you what, before I get into this, let's just get this out of the way. This is Professor Jeff. We're talking about Dungeon Siege 3 today, and I am joined by Jason Murphy, the Murph.
Hey.
The Ass Crusher, Nick Hodges.
Hello.
And Kevin J. Baird.
Greetings.
So,
Codename Copperhead.
So I'd like to get this off my chest because a lot of people don't know it, and this is actually one of the reasons that I came onto the loading bar because I pointed this out to Corey. Fallout New Vegas was made by Obsidian, and Obsidian Entertainment, you know, I'm going to be straight up here. I'm sure there are people there and they love their job, et cetera, but whenever you have a even remotely successful franchise and you as a developer don't want to make the sequel, it seems like they call up Obsidian and they make a really lackluster, tepid, like just lukewarm, kind of boring game. And
so that's why Fallout New Vegas sucked. Okay, it's got nothing to do with me.
yes. Bethesda made Fallout 3, and then Obsidian came in and made Fallout New Vegas, and of course took out everything that made Fallout 3 fun and made a kind of like game. So, and very true to that tradition, they have come into Dungeon Siege and made a really boring Diablo knockoff.
Yeah, boring. That's a good word for it.
And
See, I didn't even like the first one. That's the only one I played. And it just annoyed the hell out of me with its... mainly because the developers were originally saying it's got a really compelling story, and like, no, it doesn't.
wasn't that the one that starts out where you're the farmer, like you take your hoe and start killing things with it?
Exactly. And then it turns into Donkey Siege, with you loading up your pack mule and sending him to the store to sell all the shit you harvested.
Oh, that's great. It even says in this one, while the game's loading, it says there is no mule in Dungeon Siege 3. Like,
see.
Like, it just reminds you of that all the time, that makes it better somehow.
Now there's no reason for me to play it, because I was really attached to my donkey. I named him Freddy. We went through a lot of shit together.
I'm actually looking at some of the fighting tactics, and it looks really boring. Like it's kind of far away, and it's like too much information pumping at me at the same time.
Well, this is kind of indicative of the way that Obsidian games work. Like if you look at the gameplay mechanics and the graphics and the storyline and stuff of those games that I just listed off, there's no reason why those games should not have been fun. And yet I can't get through more than about 5 hours of an Obsidian game before I'm just like, I'd rather go play the original. I'd rather just go back and play an old Dungeon Siege game.
Has it got like bugs in it? Like that? If it's an Obsidian game, does it have like?
What do you not like about it?
It's boring. It's just boring and repetitive. The story is okay for anybody who cares. I mean, the story of this game is that there's this organization called the Legionnaires who were champions of justice, and then some evil queen or something comes in and destroys them with treachery, and then it's years later and you are like the last son or sons or daughters of these legionnaires and you're trying to rebuild the organization. The plot of this game is really confusing. It's just all over the place. Kevin, can you check me on this?
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the head.
We are the 10th Legion, exiles from a dying empire who founded the Kingdom of Ebb. For 400 years, we guided and protected our people. We gave them peace, prosperity, fair judgment. Some say it was the death of the old king that turned the people against us. That it was Jane Cassander who took up the sword and drove us from our chapter houses to states. I was not there for the final battle, when the last of our legion faced Jane Cassander beneath the boughs of an ancient, hallowed tree. Nor do I know what power she called upon in that forest to murder my comrades and friends. After that, the forest was changed, twisted and ruined. Only Jane walked out of that place alive.
I mean, it just starts off like, I was in a mansion and some gypsies come in and you just start killing them for no reason, and then you find out that they were paid off by somebody, and then you find out that it's this woman, but you're investigating it, and you go into this haunted house, literally, like a haunted house, and to find out, like, information, in a graveyard. And then you, like...
Okay, time out. Jeff was describing a game, and then Kevin said, no, you got it exactly. And then it sounds like he proceeds to describe a completely different game.
Essentially, it's the same game, yeah. And then you run into, like, Russian women, and they're very similar or something, or they sound Russian,
Oh, that was this horrible thing, is how if you play as they're called Leskani, they're the Russians in this game. If you play the Leskani character in the game and you have this conversation with this other woman, it sounds like they're the exact same voice actress.
Yes. Right.
And she's just like, well, for this role, I'm going to talk a little bit like this. And I'm going to
like Gollum talking to himself. Murderer.
But yeah, I mean, it was so convoluted that within the first probably about half hour of the game, I was completely lost and totally uninterested in what the hell was going on. Not to mention the fact that apparently they were too cheap in the intro to the game to hire a voice actor to read their epic dialogue. So it's just these still pictures of, like, drawings of the game with text that you read underneath it, like 1999 all over again.
Do they try to, make it exciting with some music being pumped up, or is it really quiet?
It's just, no, it's
got to be unremarkable, because I can't even remember it.
Yeah, they played Scorpions Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Dude, I was just saying to somebody that I wish that they would make a game like this that was just a total Diablo ripoff, but then instead of, like, your gripping Lord of the Rings soundtrack, it was nothing but 80s music or 80s sitcom intro themes.
Are you serious? I thought you were taking the piss earlier, so it's got 80s music playing.
No. That's what I wish it would have had. Like, if every time I was going to go, like, hit the ghosts in the face, the Airwolf theme started to play, that would have been the best game I ever played.
I was thinking more like Growing Pains. When you're doing it the best I can.
It just has a lot of cliches in it. I mean, there's just treasure chests randomly everywhere. Like, who dragged that treasure chest all the way over and set it next to that tree? And like, you go into it and it's got like a handful of gold and some grotty armor that you're going to wear. You get all these other people that you can play, like other characters in the game, because there's this whole like character selection screen, but you can only play 2 at a time. Like, only one other person helps you as they run around in the quest. Like, you can get 3 in your party or whatever or more, but you can only play with 2. And it's kind of like maybe if it was co-op or something, it would have a little bit more depth or be interesting, but the graphics are also really kind of bland and muddy and not interesting. And it tries to do like that whole conversation tree, like Mass Effect type of deal, where you're like got a wheel and you can pick which things you say, except that none of them matter. You just say all of them. And, there's like no real choices that are going on. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the game, it'll make you sleep. If you have insomnia, great game.
It's one of those things where it's like, it reminded me when they had those characters and the kind of lack of detail in the models, it reminded me of back when you would see in like 3D real-time strategy games where the units look fine when you're all zoomed out, and then suddenly they'd have a cutscene where they put that shitty low-res texture unit right up in your face, and you're just like, good.
Isn't the multiplayer just like fundamentally broken?
Yeah.
Where, like, if you've got your main player and then whoever you're playing with is basically just has this thankless job.
Yeah, they're pretty much your bitch.
What platform did you guys play this on?
I played on the PlayStation 3.
360.
Yeah.
360, okay. Because it kind of looks like a PC kind of game, like one of those point-and-click adventures.
Well, the original 2 were PC games, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually heard there was a bit of a controversy when this one came out about the fact that apparently the controls on the PC version of it were horrible, like direct maps from the console controls. They actually put out a patch to change that. I tell you what, one of the funniest things about this game is that if you're playing it co-op, because I played it with a friend of mine for as long as we could take it, which ended up being about 5 hours, even hammered drunk, the game could not be entertaining at all. If one of the people, well, player 1, player 2, it doesn't matter, like puts the controller down and leaves to like go get another beer, the computer will just start playing that character, and the other person could just continue playing the game, and the computer just takes over. And I remember about halfway through it, I was like, you know what? It's a real shame the computer just won't take over both characters.
You come home and you're like, oh, you're not done yet?
Yeah, then I could just sit here and eat a burger and watch the game play itself until it was over. But the worst part of this was last night. You know, this game is pretty easy. It's not very challenging at all. But my friend and I were playing, and we got to a boss that suddenly turned really difficult. Like, we killed the boss, it was no problem, we killed bosses before. Suddenly the boss comes back to life, and just the screen fills up with fire, everybody's health is going down, it's just an apocalypse, and we both die, and the game put us back to the last time that we saved.
Oh, no.
Which was about 2 hours ago.
Wow. That is some old school, I hate you, player 1 gaming.
Yeah. Yeah, and my friend just threw the controller down. He was like, yep, I'm done. It's like, all right, cool, let's play Mortal Kombat. Kevin, do you have any other thoughts?
No, I mean, as far as the rating goes, I guess you could rent it if you want to check it out. I mean, but mostly probably just ignore it. It doesn't do anything technically terrible, so I don't want to say that it's like, you know, a piece of trash. It's just boring.
I will say one of the problems that I had with the game was they have kind of the same loot system that you get out of a game like Diablo, where they're giving you, you know, new loot all the time, which is one of the major draws for this kind of like third-person action, you know, zoomed out Diablo-style action game. Except that all of the items that you're getting have these weird elemental modifiers on them that the game never explains to you what the hell they do. It's like, well, this one is less armor, but it's got +5 to sandwiches. What is that?
That sounds awesome. I want some of that. It's like, it makes every sandwich super delicious. And gives you some extra prosciutto.
So I'm going to go...
And you can't get stabbed.
I'm going to go ahead and, because I hate Obsidian so much and I want people to stop buying their games so they stop fucking up franchises, I'm going to give this game some bullshit. Because I don't think people should have anything to do with it.
Is that a first with you?
No,
Your first?
No, oh hell no. I gave Thor as low as we could give it, but
All right, yeah, okay.
But it's just, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where I hate to see, every time I see a game that's interesting and I see a trailer and then at the end it says Obsidian, it's just like, oh.
They should hide that shit, you know, like change the company name or something.
Yeah. This game brought to you by Alan Smithy.
But Jane Cassinder hunts for us still. Now I fear that her spies may be getting close. We cannot delay any longer. We still have a chance to join together, rebuild the Legion, and take our country back from Jane Cassinder before it's too late. The sons and daughters of the Legion are gathering in the north, at the old Mount Baron estate. I urge you to join us in the Valley of Rukenval as quickly as you can. Help us restore all that was lost. Your faithful friend, Odo.